always argued that the BioAfrica Convention is not just an event, that BioAfrica is not an event management company. It is meant to be a trigger or a culmination of a year-long program of action. It should be taken as that. It should be used as a platform to create a sustained program of action for putting biotechnology innovation at the center of the African economic development agenda, especially with regards to healthcare and environmental as well as agricultural aspects of economic development. There is another lesson for preparedness. If we think back to 3 years ago and we spoke of biotechnology being an opportunity to leverage its capabilities to build economic development, to build sustainability in terms of our own products, we would not have predicted that in 2020, with the COVID crisis wreaking havoc around the world, how we came to a point where the international supply chains were disrupted and we could not even get access to what we would normally call low-tech or even easily accessible medical products such as diagnostics. If only we had known, we would have accelerated our efforts to ensure that we are prepared. There's another lesson for preparedness. As I said earlier on when I started, one big weakness we had with regards to this year's Bio event is that we were not adequately prepared for the calamity that became the Zoom crash on Monday. But as a continent, as a country, because of, I wouldn't say it's a neglect on investments in innovation, we could have been better prepared. We could have made a better effort in terms of meeting the challenges posed by COVID. But I want to put a point across, and it was raised by our Professor Salim Abdul Karim on Monday in his opening plenary, that says that when you compare South Africa to the rest of the world in terms of its response to the COVID pandemic, what became clear and what really for me as the president of BioAfrica hit home the message of preparedness was that he made a statement of fact that said the testing levels, the way we responded to the crisis was not because of any special insights that came out of nowhere. It was because over the past 2 decades, as a country, as a continent, we've dealt with the AIDS pandemic or epidemic. And as a result, we were able to deploy and roll out all of those learnings and all of that capacity to manage the COVID epidemic, especially in the South African context. But now I want to turn back to the program itself. And I think for me, it's just to highlight a few of the program content. The one big highlight for us as BioAfrica and Africa Bio was the launch on Monday of the BioAfrica Innovation Portal and Ecosystem. This is a partnership with the University of Emory in Atlanta in advancing health innovation in Africa. The second highlight for me was the Science and the City, which is a partnership with the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. For us, again, as a continent, as a country, this is a particularly important endeavor as we move biotechnology innovation to the center of the agenda for economic development. And we move the innovation agenda and put it in the hands of every man and woman in our society so that they are able, in the words of Sir Richard Roberts, they are able to make their own decisions and determine their own fates as far as this biotechnology revolution. And lastly, for me at least, the Women in STEM program this year went up a few notches high. We want to pay particular tribute to Professor Qureisha Abdul Karim, who graciously agreed to curate and facilitate the women's sessions, both the leadership session as well as the Rising Stars on day 2. Before the convention started, Africa Bio had published an op-ed where we made comments in line with the rest of the world, with the rest of humanity, about patterns of exclusion. These are mainly based on racial exclusion and social agenda, social justice issues in the scientific enterprise. We made that with a view to making a commitment that BioAfrica in the future years will strive not just to focus on the racial exclusion, which is center of the topic, which is the top of the mind right now, but to also look at other forms of exclusion. We did mention class exclusion, we did mention gender exclusion, but we're making a commitment that in the next 2 years, the gender agenda will become at least half of the program of action with our BioAfrica, not just the convention, but as a program for the organization. I want to thank the South African government, especially for its consistent support to biotechnology over the past 20 years. If you recall, in our very first BioAfrica event 2 years ago, this is the third one, we did mention that South African government has consistently supported biotechnology innovation, starting with the biotech strategy in the early 2000s and followed later by the bioeconomic strategy. This is indeed something to be proud of as a country and as a continent. A lot of other countries across the continent are supporting biotechnology, not just paying lip service to it. It turns out that the biotech strategy is coming of age this year, 21 years, as is Africa Bio. I recall the day we launched the Africa Bio organization in Grahamstown at Y2K. Who would have known that 21 years later, we would have a convention such as this? And we are committing ourselves to making sure that it continues. Turning back to the South African government, as I said, the Department of Science and Innovation has been a particularly strong supporter of biotechnology innovation agenda. I am very much encouraged by the fact that this year, the Minister of Health graciously agreed to attend the conference and deliver the plenary address at our first day of our opening plenary. This is indeed encouraging. It is also encouraging that he made commitments to place biotechnology agenda at the center of providing solutions to the healthcare challenges besetting our continent and our country. It is up to us as the Africa Bio and BioAfrica community to take up that challenge and that invitation. We also thank the Minister of Agriculture and the Deputy Minister of Environment for supporting this year's convention. It, for us, is a very, very, very inspiring image to see our leaders taking up the challenge of supporting the biotechnology agenda. And I want to end with thanking our international partners from across the Strip. Bio International, which is located in the USA, has been a partner, a strong partner of ours from the very beginning, beginning of this journey of having a BioAfrica convention. We thank them. We thank the International Center for Genetic Engineering and Biotechnology. We are united by one mission, and that mission is to make biotechnology and to leverage it for empowerment and for development and for providing solutions across the African continent and the developing world at large. As we bid each other farewell from both a physical and digital Durban International Convention Center, pretty sure you can see at the back that I am at Durban International Convention Center. I want to pay tribute to them for hosting us. They've hosted us for the past 2 years. And in the words of the famous actor, I won't mention his name, we shall be back or we'll be back. At this moment, I'd like to hand over the baton to the future of the BioAfrica convention, our head of secretariat, and then invite after her the deputy chair of the organizing committee to formally close the proceedings on behalf of the organizing committee. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Msori. What an amazing 3 days it has been. We have We have spent sleepless nights, but at the end, we have delivered. I would just like to pay tribute to the organizing committee. We had these amazing men and women that are leaders in the different bioeconomy sector in South Africa, and they committed themselves to sitting with us every 2 weeks. I think this is from the beginning of the year. So we thank you for your selfless sacrifice. And I really hope that you're proud of what you were able to deliver to Africa. I think that this year's convention was absolutely amazing, and all thanks to you. Thank you for allowing me to just pen down your thoughts, and I hope I've done justice to all the vision that you had for this year's convention. Thank you very, very much, and I look forward to delivering, well, we look forward as a Secretariat to delivering a bigger and better BioAfrica Convention 2021. In maths, when we were still in high school, I remember you would make 3 statements. And if you can make 3 statements, you can then say therefore. As Africa Bio, we have delivered 3 successful conventions. And I think we have proven beyond a shadow of doubt that we can do it. I wish to refer to Africa's Consolidated Plan of Action on Science and Technology that speaks about a lack of proper coordination that exists in the ecosystem. And I think we have proven ourselves that we're able to bring biotechnology stakeholders from different sectors, from different walks of life. We have done it. We have brought all of you together, but not only the African continent, we've also brought international leaders, we've brought international partners. And as you could have seen in the sessions that happened over the last couple of days, there's so much willingness to partner with us to ensure that we take a stand as a continent. We get to a point where we begin to provide for ourselves the diagnostic kits, the drugs, the different therapeutics, the different vaccines. I mean, a lot of these neglected diseases exist in Africa. And because, I mean, yesterday in the panel, in the dialogue with global leaders, it was highlighted very much that because there's not motivation for profit, some of these big pharmas will not necessarily work on those diseases, but they continue to plague us as a continent. In some instances, we are very fortunate that some of the diseases affect the developed countries. And what we get is really a trickle down. So I would like to make an appeal to everybody that attended this year's convention, that don't just be an information, don't just hog information. May you do something with the information you received this year. Otherwise, maybe you mustn't, okay, I was going to say maybe you must not come next year, but please do come. But please do something with the information you got, reach out to somebody. Let's begin to work together as a continent. As Africa Bio, we're an association and we want to represent you as a biotech stakeholder. Please come and join hands with us. Come and talk to us. Let's see how we can grow the ecosystem, not just South Africa, the entire continent at large. Come and be our members. Allow us to bring all of you together. Because if we are going to solve some of the challenges that plague us, we have to work together. So I look forward to an overwhelming response from each and every one of you to say, this is how we'll partner, this is how we'll make it better. It's not so much about the convention, but it's about the different programs that we put together to make sure that indeed Africa can begin to produce for itself. We are discovering, we are developing, let's also disseminate. So I would like to thank very much the partners that helped us to bring all of this together. A special mention to the Department of Science and Innovation, as well as the technology, the Department of Science and Innovation and the Technology Innovation Agency. Some of our partners as well that came forth, we really want to thank you, eThekwini and Durban Invest. I think eThekwini is really proving that it is serious about branding itself as a biotechnology hub in the country. And we look forward to working with you, and we look forward to your continued support. Other partners that came through, such as the IDC and the DBSA and Telkom, we are really grateful. And today, a lot of the sessions were hosted by our many partners. There's a session that will be starting in the next 25 minutes by Pharma Connect. There was a session that was put together by ILO and UNIDO, and the session in the morning that was put together by the help of the WRC and the Technology Innovation Agency. Just the support that we got from all our various partners, we are really grateful. And the panelists as well, you know, you are busy, but you made time to honor our invitation. We are really grateful. If they are not here on this panel, please pass the message to each and every one of them that we're really grateful for their support. And the team that we worked with, they worked tirelessly. And I hope you're also proud of yourself. And lastly, please allow me to I wish I could stand up, and I don't know how, but Dr. Msomi has overextended himself. I don't think anybody will ever imagine the amount of work that this young man has put into to make sure this convention happens. He's pulled every string. I mean, just the behind the scenes, just how that he pulls out a rabbit out of different hats. It has just been amazing. Your commitment to growing the bioeconomy of this country, of this continent, it is truly inspiring. And may we give you the support you deserve or that you require for you to be able to realize your vision for a better Africa that can be able to stand on its own, that can be able to provide for itself. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mpho. And between Mpho and Dr. Msomi, a lot has been covered. But I just thought there's one aspect that I want to reflect on, which came out quite strongly in this convention. And the time that we organized this convention is really pertinent in that it highlighted the need for us as the African region to really focus on R&D, to also focus, as per the theme of this conference, in the dissemination of that R&D, in the commercialization of that R&D, such that in future, you know, we are able to respond through local manufacturing, local innovation, and local development to any, whether it's a pandemic, any global need that emerges. So again, we had a number of companies being represented, a number of SMMEs, and we'd really like to thank you for your participation. We hope that you found value in being part of this convention. And again, you know, I was in a session yesterday that indicated that even with the COVID-19 response, a significant number of, whether it's the vaccines developed, the therapeutics being developed, they are emerging from small, medium enterprises. And again, there's a number of studies that are highlighting the contribution that this sector makes to any economy, the contribution from an employment opportunity, contribution from an innovation opportunity. And so as Africa Bio, but also as this platform, we were quite happy and thrilled that we were able to provide such a platform. And we hope that going forward, you know, the partnerships and the relationships that have been established by yourselves during this conference will really be beneficial to yourselves as enterprises. I'd also like to thank the team of the Secretariat. I think to Mpho's comment, they worked tirelessly to ensure that this conference does take place. And again, we just want to thank the team for their hard work, for their commitment. It was not easy, as Dr. Msomi said, you know, being the first digital bio conference, we had some teething problems, but really we had participants and attendees of the conference being patient with us. So again, thank you to all our participants. Thank you for both local and our international participants. The one benefit, or among others, of having this digital platform is that we're able to attract even a much larger cohort of international participants to our conference. So again, thank you very much for that. Thank you for sharing all the insights that we developed. And again, we look forward to hosting you next year. We hope that it will be a face-to-face engagement, but if not, we now know that we're able to have a digital conference where we can host all of you and really create the partnership among industry, among business, and among various stakeholders that is indeed core to us as BioAfrica. With that said, thank you very much.